How many of us have ever had a job? Now, how many of us have had a job that was demanding, difficult, and stressful? All of us, right? We here in the SSO community are all adults now, after all. It's time we act like it, I think. Let's talk about art. Art is the long revered practice of bringing vision to life. Since there have been humans, there's been artwork. And since there's been artwork, there's been critics. And while many critics are capable of constructively providing advice and helpful tips to artists in order to better improve their craft, there are a vast majority of incapable, untalented, insufferable critics that have absolutely nothing to add to the world whatsoever but negative comments and endless complaints. Now, for some, art is little more than a hobby, something to do in one's free time that makes them feel happy and fulfilled. But for others, art is their life. Art is what pays the bills and what keeps them alive. Their artwork is everything to them. These artists deserve to be treated with respect and dignity like everyone else, and yet they rarely ever are. We currently live in a society where artists aren't valued if they're not bringing in profits, and creative people are punished if they're not helping meet quotas. Where hours spent laboring over a project is reduced to the target of a scathing comment on an Instagram post by someone who wouldn't even be able to come close to creating anything like that if their lives depended on it. Now, what does this have to do with Star Stable? Literally everything. Star Stable is a never-ending art project, a series of concepts and images and ideas that have come together to create something unique and special to thousands of people. And also home to one of the most critical game companies in our modern gaming world. You can't throw a rock around here without hitting a Reddit post complaining about how horrible the game has become since they added horses that blink and fat people, I guess? I'm generalizing, I suppose, but the point still stands. People love hating on this game, but the point of this video isn't that they're hating on the game at all, it's that they're not hating on the right people. See, in a corporation, there's a couple of roles that are played. The CEO, the CFO, the directors, executives, management, and human resources are the main players running the show. They're the ones that cut the corners and pander to the audiences based on what they think will pad their bottom line the best. Underneath those roles are the ones that actually do all the work. They're the game designers, the musicians, the animators, the artists, and the researchers who take the orders and make them into something that can be used for profit. And these people work tirelessly for hours to create all the things you see and hear in the game. This, art. This over here, art. All this shit, art. Art, art, art. Every single individual pixel was someone's weekly update project that probably drove them nuts trying to perfect. And can we talk about that for a second? Horses are a lot of things. They're beautiful, they're spirited, they've walked alongside us since the beginning of recorded time. And amongst all that, they're the real-world equivalent of a cryptid. Standing at over 7 feet tall and somehow being a hulking mass of muscle that still somehow manages to be incredibly graceful. These creatures are by far the absolute nightmare of an animator. I mean, just look at all those muscle groups. And there's thousands of different horse breeds with different breed standards depending on the place they were born, the pedigree of their parents, their ages, and more. It's absolutely maddening to imagine being told to take all those things into account and create a perfect overall representation of the breed while also being on a very tight schedule, working with a very broken system, and also having to make it match a specific art style. Oh, and also having to remember that no matter how hard you work on it, no matter how many hours you spend sculpting a hoof, or perfecting a walk, or editing a rig that just will not cooperate, about 60% of the people who see it are going to tear into it immediately. I can't imagine working in an environment like that. I don't even work in the art industry and I want to cry just thinking about it. Now let's take away the work aspect of the whole situation. The visuals in this game are lovingly crafted by artists. These artists probably love their work and love creating the world of Jorvik because otherwise they would have to be a bunch of masochists to put up with the amount of pressure and criticism they're under every day. And how do we thank them? By insulting their work in absolutely ridiculous ways. I get angry when I see some of the absolute hog shit that comes out of this community's mouths sometimes. For example, let's play a little game I like to call, which one of these is a Dutch warmblood horse? Is it this one? Or this one? Or maybe that one? Wrong! None of them are. But you couldn't tell that just from looking at them, right? Exactly. Because at the end of the day, they're all horses. And horses, despite having all the variety in the world, are still the same species at the end of the day. They can only come in so many colors. They can only move so many ways. They can only look so different when they're the same kind of horse. It's not about recycling coats or reusing animations. It's about trying to achieve the most realistic, yet cutesy, but not infantile design for an animal that needs to be finished within 3 weeks, or you'll be eating ramen noodles every night while mindlessly scrolling through Indeed trying not to cry because they released the horse anyways and everybody hated it. I don't know about y'all, but I'm definitely not cut out for that. So let's cut these artists a little slack, okay? I know the game looks different than you remember. I know a lot has changed and you don't feel the same connection you once did. I know that your comfort game and your safe space has been taken away from you and you feel angry and frustrated. But the ones you're sending your anger and vitriol to are not the ones who did that to you. These people are just employees following instructions. It's the suits at Nordis Games and Star Stable Entertainment that you need to get your anger out on. They're the ones who made the executive decision to change the game's art style to better fit the game market of today. They're the ones that demand new horses be released every 15 minutes so that their shareholders can get a new private jet to match their yacht. They're the ones who decide everything about the future of the game and the direction it goes in. Not the artists, not the musicians, not the animators, not the game developers. So let's all just chill. You know, let's all just chill. I hope you enjoyed this video, but if you didn't, that's cool too. I'm gonna go to work now.